Now, you say you hope the changes announced will improve the community's experience, but you do so in the context of what you call the government's record of big fanfare announcements that then falls flat. Is it fair to say you aren't optimistic?
Well, look, it's fair to say that we have welcomed these initial changes, but historically, if you look at their record, in 2018, they announced impressive changes to this process. In 2020, they announced further changes to PCC appointments. And now in 2022, third time lucky, in my view, that they announced significant changes to resolve this long-standing issue of PCC appointments. What is wrong with our health service that people cannot access GPs in this way? What we need to do is have a holistic approach to healthcare, the joined-up system between the PCC and secondary and tertiary care, so these systems talk to each other. We have failed this system over many years, and including a promise in 2018 by Minister Costa at the time, where he said he was making impressive changes to this system. It hasn't worked, and that is why we call on the government to effectively say to us publicly that they are trying to restore the trust and confidence in the system, because the vulnerable people and elderly people that cannot access these appointments are suffering, and it's about time we get it fixed.
Now, you mentioned there the vulnerable and the elderly people. You brought it up in the context, again, of people who, well, the claim is that people will abuse the system and that people are locking up the system. Are you claiming that this doesn't happen at all, that people are not booking any unnecessary appointments?
Of course not. Look, every system is open to abuse. But on the one hand, to say that they're increasing the number of PCC appointments, and on the other hand, effectively telling people to be responsible with the line and calling the PCC. Now, we've got to take it in context. People have failed to get through the PCC appointment system because of the innate problems with the system. To couch it in this responsibleness is, I think, a slap in the face to people that have endured delays after delays and delays in accessing doctors. Okay. And quite frankly, it's about empathy. It's about understanding the root of the problem and solving it, rather than effectively wagging your finger at people saying, be more responsible with accessing your system. I think normal working families know about how to be responsible with using the health system. To wag your finger at the elderly and the vulnerable, who are by far the majority of people that use our health system, is unfair.
OK, new health minister, new director general of the GHA. Is it perhaps a bit ungenerous for you to be sceptical before the programme has even been launched?
Look, I know both gentlemen. I know the former, the minister, much better than I know the professor that has currently joined us in Gibraltar to help us restore the health service to a effectively health service we can all be proud of. But quite frankly, look, my job is to make sure that the government do their job and we hold them to account. And the moment we identify this as an issue, which has been an issue for many years, let's be blunt about it and let's be honest about it. For them to say that they've made impressive changes in the past from 2008 to 2019, 2020, we're hoping, and we do honestly hope, that this system is now restored and that we have a fully functional PCC appointment system. But look, we will carefully monitor this, we will carefully scrutinise it, and we invite people to give their feedback to us so that we can then feed that back to the government and the GHA and assist in this process moving forward.
So I was going to ask, it is, as we've seen, very easy to criticise something wrong. It's harder to come up with alternatives. You have mentioned one already, which is the lack of communication, or as you call it, the lack of communication between departments. Do you think that is fundamental to what we see as the failure of the current system, or prior to the change?
Sorry to interrupt you. Absolutely, I think that is precisely the point that we made, and we've articulated this point in Parliament, in press releases over a number of years. It's about technology. That is the answer to this problem, and in part, and to be fair to the government, they have looked at using an app which will hopefully go live very, very soon. I think it's Thursday it will go live. And that will solve part of the problem. But the issue that we have is that pharmacies don't talk to the PCC. PCC doesn't talk to secondary care. We need to solve that problem. And once we solve the technological problem, with technology, in fact, and that's the solution here, then we can make those advances that the government wish to do. But look, we're holding our breath. We're going to wait to see how this performs and the efficiencies that can be gained from it. And we will provide that scrutiny that people of our community so desire.